TikTok is leading, but for the matter of my viewers, I want to thank each and every one of those people who are my followers and subscribers, because you are the core voice of the audience, of the people who matter most, that I hope to empower, I hope to strengthen from every person I connect through. Just realizing our kids, from an important rhetoric point that came from a very important fact of what our kids need to not be doing, is following social media so strongly, more so our parents and our adults and those who are parents and take care of their kids, regardless if they're single mothers, single fathers, single trans or single binary or non-binary or non-forming. It doesn't matter who they are. If you are a civilized adult that takes care of and raises and properly structures a child in a healthy environment, you are part of a better future of what's leading toward this betterment of our country. And right here in America, where the fundamental values of what Donald Trump often rhetoricizes is the whole functionality of talking about the reality, like, oh yeah, our country's falling apart. Tom McDonald himself, the Canadian rapper and former wrestler, he talks about this too, and he rhetoricizes this. Now, he hasn't made any post today, and we'll leave that side tabled for the note. Not that his First Amendment is not the most important value, but it's really about the power of the American people. The voices in America, from the Republican to the Democratic to the Independent to the Green Party. And what's the strongest negative narrative that's constantly being pushed to this country? It's conservative, right-wing, extremist talk groups and right-wing rhetoric blasting on the left, talking about they're dangerous, they're radical, they're extreme. The left does it too. Neither side is better. We need to get back to a middle ground, as I've said, because at the end of the day, and I've said this before, your vote does matter. And you know what your vote matters? Doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, or Green Party. What does matter is, if you can't find a middle ground to common sense and find your basis, and we're always going to be divided and split, we're not going to have any common ground, and we're not going to make a better future for our kids. And that is the present today that we live in every single day. You better be waking up to it, be aware of it. If you are, don't get discouraged, and certainly don't listen to the rhetoric and let Donald Trump's rhetoric, Tom McDonald's rhetoric of the world is burning, defunding the police, they devalued. Our police are doing just fine. They're just struggling within their own municipal bounty, their own municipal cities. And they're budgeting. Same thing with the lack of their own funding and or care. And it's not coming from the fact of defunding. That's not the main root, the main cause. And that rhetoric you'll hear from a lot of other targeted talks from the right-wing conservative side. Donald Trump's administration is talking about how this country is war-torn, it's going to hell in a handbasket, all these ridiculous, outrageous claims. There are strong and proud Americans that are great representations of this country. And they're out there who stood up against no kings, because just like Vladimir Putin, which he did respond to Donald Trump's new sanctions, he laughed at it and said this is a reference to, essentially, taxing on their toilets in Russia, and what a laughing joke over all the poo. He made a dirty joke, just not funny based on Putin standard, as a killer, an actual killer of women, children, and men, and all the Ukrainian citizens. And as an example, what America should lead by, not to double down. And remember that Donald Trump's supposed to be reflecting on being a president, and we need to reflect on what we as American citizens want as our president. And it's certainly not the rhetoric coming from him, and for him to do a lot better and take tougher action on other functions, including getting our country fixed so we can do better as a country and lead by example. Mcluvin news, especially for our kids, as I say that example, because without the present, there is no future.